This time I'm going to make 3 more windows, similar to the one that I made the last time. And I've got a problem here, is there's too much junk and stuff built up on this plastic that's protecting the garage floor, and I need a more stable base if I'm going to mold a part over this. So I'm cleaning by blowing any debris out of the garage and putting down fresh plastic. And this will give me a more solid base for molding my part and hopefully prevent problems. There are 3 pieces of 1/2 inch material in the opening for the window to build that area up to the level of that raised lip that goes around the window to prevent water from running in. And the top layer is a piece of Nitacore, and I could probably just throw packing tape over the top of that, but I kind of didn't want to damage the furry layer on top, so I covered it with plastic from those trash bags. And now everything is being covered with a layer of clear packing tape. The fiberglass will release from the packing tape real easily and will stick to the blue painter's tape if it's not covered with the clear packing tape. So with everything covered with tape, now I can go around and lay down little pieces of fiberglass all around the edge of this. And it's basically making the window frame with the same matching curve as that raised lip around the edge of the window. And after doing a bunch of strips along the edge, I lay down some bigger pieces over the middle that will be cut out later, but it will stabilize this some when it comes time to demold it. And I'm going to need more chopped strand mat for this project, so I'm tearing out little strips that I'm going to glue down. And I'm tearing, not cutting, because I want the edge to be fluffy like this. A sharp edge like this that was at the edge of the roll will show in your layup if you leave it there. So you don't want that. What I'm going to do is just come along and tear the ends off of all of these little strips that I tore out, so that everywhere on it there's a fluffy torn edge and there's no sharp cut edges. That's the way you want it, and you can lay down lots and lots of this and it'll all look like one continuous piece of fiberglass. You'll never see the edges as long as you tear it, but if you cut it, you'll see every spot like that. And this is becoming pretty redundant. This is another window, and I'm putting down the trash bags over the Nitacore in the center. And now everything gets covered with packing tape. So this is the piece that's going to be glued to the boat, and the lip to not let rain run in, and the opening for the window is there, but there's 3 layers of stuff in there to build that up to the level of the top of this lip. And I'm going to mold the window frame that will be this shape. And covering the stuff that's in the middle here were some trash bags. and they were held down with blue painter's tape. And there's also blue painter's tape at the edge here, which will give me something to push wedges in and start to peel when I want to separate these two pieces. And then covering all of this is clear packing tape, which will be the main release layer. So I'm going to just lay fiberglass up over all of this packing tape. And once it's hardened, I'm going to come back and try to peel up some of this blue tape here, or shove wedges in, and separate the two pieces. And hopefully the packing tape will peel off of here and then come off of the other part. But that's the plan. And that's how that was prepared for releasing the piece that's going to be molded on it. And one disadvantage of using this is stuff like that. There's always wrinkles and stuff like this. The big wrinkles, you can kind of try and push down like this and make them into smaller, narrower wrinkles, but this is going to show up on the inside of the window frame that's laid up over this. And the outside that shows will be the outside of final layer of layup and gel coat. But you'll always have these imperfections and stuff if you use packing tape as a release layer, although it's quick and easy. So once again, I'm going to lay up a bunch of fiberglass, concentrating on that curved edge and on making sort of a flange, maybe 3 inches from the curved edge. And this big piece that I put down to cover the middle, that I didn't tear the edges of. And I can see the edge of that right now, so I'm laying down some more chopped strand mat that was torn over the top of it to fix that. And this is the last window, and I decided to do an experiment because the painter's tape can conform to a curved surface a lot better than the packing tape. And I thought, well, what if I just cover the whole thing with the blue tape and then fiberglass over the top of that? I should be able to separate that from the piece below. And yeah, that part worked, but the fiberglass does not like to separate from the blue tape, from the back of the tape, the non-sticky part. So now that I've made these 3 window frames, it's time to demold my parts. Well, these weren't really made in a mold. They were made off of the piece that they're supposed to fit over. But this is called one-off construction rather than mold construction. But I'm demolding them even though there isn't a proper mold. And that worked out pretty good. So look how easy that packing tape peels off of the fiberglass. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to do with that part. And the demolding, you get some wedges in, and then you take the middle wedge and move it to the end and, make the crack bigger. So you can take the wedge that's behind and move it forward. And you just keep working your way along, making the crack bigger until the two pieces are separated. And this is the part with the painter's tape. And at this point, it's looking brilliant. That wedge went in like butter. And this next one, I mean, it just slid in, and it gives me the idea that I don't need wedges. I can just grab this with my hands and peel it right off of here. And that worked really awesome. And I think that things are going so well at this point. And yeah, there is going to be a real problem getting that blue painter's tape off of the fiberglass.